What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets right here on the Mayo Media Network. I'm Chris Meaney. Thanks so much for taking the time to hang out today. 8 games on the ice. If you're watching on the Mayo Media Network, well, welcome. Thanks. Subscribe, rate, review, smash that like button, leave a comment in the YouTube section. Going to scan them a little bit later on. Maybe your favorite pick of the day, your favorite prop, your favorite DFS play. Maybe it's just a fantasy hockey season-long question. You're already sick of a player that you drafted early. I mean, could be Jamie Benn. Hasn't played a game this season. Going to play a game tonight. The Dallas Stars are an actual hockey team. We're going to see them play hockey tonight. Let's bring in my favorite guy to talk hockey with. It is Cam Stewart. Happy Friday, man. What's going on?
Hey, Meaney, what's happening, buddy? I'll tell you something. I was tweeting out people. I'm like, you got to listen to Meaney. This guy's a DFS, like God guru, whatever you want to call him. But I'll tell you something, Meaney. These shootouts in hockey, enough is enough. Let's get to let's get. Here's the thing. Let's just get to a 3-on-3 for 10 minutes. Like, you can't complain about the plane or whatever, you know. And if it doesn't, if nobody wins, we get a tie. I'm fine with that. I'm so done with shootouts. It's child's play. It's so stupid.
I agree. I mean, the other night, the Montreal-Vancouver game, how entertaining was that? They combined for 11 goals with the shootout winner. But, I mean, if you just give them another 3 minutes, that 3-on-3 is going to be over, right?
Exactly.
They wouldn't last 8 minutes. Heck, they wouldn't last 10 minutes if you just gave them 10. And the travel is limited this year. Montreal is playing Vancouver again tomorrow, so they've just been hanging out in Vancouver all week. I mean, what's the difference? You're going to leave the rink a half an hour later to go back to the hotel. And by the way, just your hotel room. Can't be hanging out with anybody else in your hotel room. We'll get to that in a little bit. But before we get to the games today, I want to just encourage everybody to rate, review, subscribe. Mayo is giving away another $100, so it's simple. Just head on over. You're listening on Apple, iTunes. Just give 5 stars, chuck in a comment. Make sure you leave your email, and you have a chance to win $100. So get in on that draw. And with that, we are underway. Let's start with our Buffalo Sabres.
Buffalo. This team, Meaney, I'll tell you something, buddy. These guys are killing me. I don't know why I keep on betting Buffalo, but tonight we could be in a good situation with the Russians. Hey, these guys don't get it. Hey, yeah, let's go to the hotel room. Let's all get together. I don't understand what these guys are doing, but I'll tell you one thing, buddy. Buffalo actually outplayed them in the games where they lost. I'm all in on Buffalo tonight. I wish we weren't laying juice, but Sabres it is.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Let's go back to them. Why not? They're minus 132. The total here is 5.5. I felt like we got burned. I honestly did. I felt like we got burned and, just ran into a hot goalie. We're going to see Vitek Vanacek again today. As you mentioned, the Russians, no Ovechkin, no Orlov, no Kuznetsov, no Samsonov. All 4 of those guys hanging out in the same hotel room. I think it's ludicrous. I think it's silly. I mean, they're hugging each other on the ice, on the bench. They're in the same dressing room. They can't hang out in the same hotel room, but that's a discussion for another day. Regardless, I mean, those are some pretty solid players you're taking out of the Washington lineup, and the Sabres looked good in that game. They've looked good this season. They're generating a ton of offensive scoring chances. So I like Buffalo as well. There's a couple shot props I wanted to throw out. Hall and Eichel pretty juiced up at 3.5. I don't mind Hall, but I think for Backstrom, probably going to get a lot of ice time tonight, right? Over 2.5 is plus money, plus 135 for 3 shots on goal for Backstrom and minus 118 for 3 shots on goal for John Carlson. So I think, Carlson's probably going to have to join the rush a little bit if they get some power play. He could be on for the entire 2 minutes. Somebody's going to take Ovechkin's full 2 minutes from on a power play. So I like those guys to potentially hit the shot props. If I'm looking for a first goal, what Buffalo Sabre are we looking at here tonight, Cam?
Buffalo. I'm going to go with first goal prop. What's Eichel tonight?
Eichel's 850, Hall's 1150. We got Reinhart on that line as well.
I like that.
1.
I'll tell you something. Sam Reinhart actually has been, he's pumping in points. I like Reinhart. That's the beautiful thing about hockey props like that, Meaney. Say you're just like betting a little bit and you go, ding, ding, ding. You take 3 guys, one of them hits, you still make money. That's what I love when things are like, you're getting 8, 9, 12. That's what I love, those props. Like when you're doing stuff like that, I'm basically a gambler that used to just play sides, but other people have got me into the props and hockey props. These guys are sleeping on a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll get into one. Matty Best and I were talking about one that we can't seem to wrap our heads around it every single day. We'll get to that one in a little bit. So we're on Buffalo. Be good to us, Sabres. I like the Sabres tonight. Let's go. You know what? They're just playing good hockey too, Cam.
They are.
They've
They're
had like, a
know what,
couple bad
Meanie?
luck losses.
They're snake bitten. And you know hockey, it doesn't matter how you cap games, and you're one of the smartest guys I know. You run into a hot goaltender, you're done. And Buffalo, every game they played, even the second game against Philadelphia, I watched that game. They should have won that game. Like Buffalo has been the better team in almost every game this year, and they have no puck luck. Tonight, they get it done. We're going Sammy Sabre, baby. Let's rock.
They've just run into hot goalies. Brian Elliott he just looked like a stud the other night. I don't know what was going on there. The next game on the board, we have the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is a high total 6.5. The Penguins have played to the over in every single game so far this season. They are not getting the goaltending. I think they'll go back to Tristan Jarry, but I'm not 100% sure. We know that Igor Shesterkin is going to start for the Rangers after Alexander Gorgiev laid an egg against the Devils earlier this week. So I don't know, man. I was leaning over. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of goals, but to ask for 7 is tough. Do you have a feel on this game?
No, I'm with you. Like, it doesn't matter if Dismiss starts or Yari. I'll tell you, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Meaney, you know this too. Everyone's talking about, Crosby and Malkin and it's not that. They have an aging, other than Letang too. Like, I look at their defense and it sucks. They hang their goaltender out to dry. As for the Rangers, they haven't been very impressive out of the gate. They beat the Islanders when the Islanders starter got hurt in the warm-up. That's the best game the Rangers have played. I'm looking at a 6.5 here. I'm with you. I hate it. I love 6s, but 6.5. I think this game is like a 5-4 type of hockey game, 9 goals. Don't want to do it, but I'm telling you, there's going to be no defense in this game. I see a shinny game. So I like over, and I lean Rangers plus 132.
I lean Rangers as well. I hear everything that you're saying. They haven't looked great, but this Penguins team, they have a lot of holes. You're absolutely right, man. The defense is not great. Malkin I have some questions.
He's been sleeping this year.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he was asleep in the bubble last year. He's sleeping to start the season. Crosby's the only guy that has been consistent on this team. I mean, he's got 3 goals so far to start the season. He's got 5 points through 4. But look at these games. I mean, they lost 6-3. They lost 5-2. Those are overs. They beat Washington in both games, but they were shootouts 4-3, 5-4. Lots of goals, question marks in goal. Really dig this Rangers power play when they get going too. And I'll touch on them a little bit later towards the end for DFS purposes, but I am going to lean with the over. Why not? It just feels like it's going to be a high-paced game. Both teams are in the top 10 in high-danger chances created and high-danger chances allowed at 5-on-5. So I'm just going to go with a trend here, lean with the over, and I'll side with you
and the
on
pooch.
The Rangers. Yeah, why not? Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Meanie. The Pittsburgh Penguins, to me, they're a team that is literally they have to go out and get – what's their window of time? 1 year? And I don't even think that, it's done. Crosby's working his butt off. Malkin's giving them no help. They have other guys on the team, Russ, Zucker, all these other guys. It's just, I look at the Penguins. I don't take them seriously. I don't think they're a threat. I like the Rangers tonight, and we'll rock the over 6.5, buddy.
Oh man. Yeah. It does feel a little risky
it is.
For sure, but just again, trends. I think, both of these goalies would have to stand on their head. I think Shesterkin has a better job of doing that. That's why I lean with the Rangers. Edmonton and Toronto. It was a high total on Wednesday. Yep. I leaned with the over, and it was totally wrong on my point. I feel like maybe the Oilers were like, okay, listen, the coaching staff, we played your way for a few games. It didn't work out. We allowed a ton of goals. Let's tighten up just a little bit here tonight. And they did. They squeaked out a victory against the Leafs. Toronto favorites here, minus 136. We got another high total, as I mentioned, 6.5. Don't know about Austin Matthews. I think he's going to play. You're going to want to keep an eye on that. Joe Thornton's going to miss some time.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, Thornton's done. It looks like VC's going to step on that top line with Matthews and Marner. Just looking at reports, he left practice on Thursday, wasn't feeling great after the game against the Oilers. So, he probably gets into the lineup. How do you think that this game goes? Will we see those goals that a lot of us thought maybe we were going to see on Wednesday, or is this going to be another low-scoring one?
Here's the deal, Meanie. I walk into the bank. Where's the teller? They go, oh, Mr. Stewart, I'm going to say, hey, I want to take out a lot of money. And they ask me questions. I'm like, This is my money. No, I hate going to the bank, buddy. And they're like, hey, what are you doing with this money? It's none of your damn business. I could buy groceries. I could buy my lady a ring. I could do whatever I want. But I'm going to tell you this. The Toronto Maple Leafs were the better team against Edmonton in that 3-1 loss. They hit pipes. They were dominating that game. And I'll give Koskinen a little bit of respect. He made saves when he needed to. Meaney, this is the way I'm gambling now. I basically look at it like blackjack. I got dealt a 6 and a 5. I got 11 against their 5. I'm doubling down. Chips in, Leafs. I'm going to like the thing about it is, hey, Edmonton might win this game, but the back-to-back, Leafs played better. They lose that game. I don't like the juice, but I'm there. I think the Leafs beat them tonight.
I think there's something to be said about these second halves of back-to-backs too. We're seeing a lot of teams bounce back. Right?
Yep.
I don't know if I had this conversation with you last Friday about that, but it's almost like, okay, you lost game one of the quote unquote playoffs, and now you make some adjustments in game two. I don't have the numbers. I promise I will look at them next week, but I've seen a lot of bounce backs from teams across the board. I doubled down on Montreal last night. They lost the first game to Vancouver, doubled down, and it worked out. So I am with you. I think Toronto is just the better hockey team. Frederik Andersen has looked like the better goalie of late. I know Koskinen played a little bit better. McDavid, over 3.5 shots on goal seems high. It's plus money. He seems to show up in Toronto every time he plays. Matthews, if he does get in the lineup, is plus 160 for a 2-point game. Getting all these odds, by the way, from DraftKings Sportsbook. He's just juiced up at 3.5 shots. It's like almost minus 300. There's no need to get involved, but you could find maybe other books. 4.5 would be plus money. That's a little risky, but this is a guy who loves to shoot the puck. So give me the Leafs as well. What about this next game? This one's tough. Matt and I joked about it before. Detroit and Chicago.
You know what? I love loser games like Detroit and Chicago. I'm looking at this
Goals?
game. Not necessarily. I think the Blackhawks goaltending with Delia and Subban is weak. But I will say this about the Detroit Red Wings. They battled against Columbus in the games that they played. They beat Carolina in a game. They're one of those teams, I think they're actually better than people think. Like, they think they're a bottom feeder. The Blackhawks got more problems to me. I'm telling you something, Meaney. It's plus 124, Detroit or nothing in this game. I'm on the Wings.
Yeah, I told Matt I was on the Wings too. We joked about not touching it, but I think they're improved.
I agree.
I think they're improved. They're an improved team. Heck, Bobby Ryan. What is going on with Bobby Ryan? He set a Detroit Red Wings franchise record, 4 goals in his first 4 games. There is a prop that I really like here, and another one, it may seem high. Dylan Larkin over 3.5 shots is plus money. This guy is just a volume shooter, Cam. 10 shots in his last 2 games, 15 and 4. The reason I like him is almost like Matthews and Scheifele. These guys are just playing a ton of minutes, right? If you look at certain players around the league, sometimes they get around that 16, 17-minute mark. For Dylan Larkin, 22 minutes in his last game, 21. He's played 20 minutes in each of his 4 games. So he is just getting a ton of ice time. He's going to play in all situations, PK, power play. So plus money for that shot total. And then Kubalik, who put 8 pucks on net in his last game, over 2.5 is plus 115. Larkin, I'm in on the Red Wings.
I love Larkin.
Larkin is plus 300 for a 2-point game. I know it may be a little crazy, but I'm in on Detroit and Larkin. I think that let's go Wings, man. Let's do it.
I'm with you, Meaney. The thing is, the total's high too at 6.5. It should get there. High. It should get there, but you just can't trust Chicago's back end. Their goaltending's been brutal. It's just one of those things. I lean over in the game, but I'll tell you something. If we just take overs, that's a recipe for disaster. Right. So I'm just gonna basically take the Red Wings as a pooch, and we hope for the best. Go Red Wings.
The one thing about Chicago, I will lean Red Wings too, is nobody has allowed more chances, shots, scoring chances, goals at 5-on-5 over the last 2.5 years than Chicago, and they're just super thin this year. Yep. I like the Sharks as we go to the next game against Minnesota. Yeah,
SJ Sharky. You like SJ Sharky?
I do. I like the road dog Sharks here. I like the way that they've played so far this season. They're a bounce back team, in my opinion. Last year, they had no Hurdle. They had no Couture, no Carlson. They dealt with a ton of injuries. I really like the look of the second line with Meyer, Hurdle, and Kane. They're shooting the puck a ton. Minnesota here minus 157 as
That's
of
crazy.
last night. But right now, they're like minus 170. Why the hell should the Wild be that big of home favorites?
Hey, if the Wild win this game, so be it. These guys should be about $1.35 in this game, $1.40. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's nuts.
Minus 170 for the Minnesota Wild, who beat Anaheim. And I'll tell you one thing, like, Anaheim also in the other game could have won. Gibson Guitars has been great, but I'll tell you, they're not a good hockey team. For the fact that they're laying $1.70 against the San Jose Sharks is stupid. It's Sharks or nothing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm seeing plus 150 to jump on the Sharks. I mean, they were in both games against the Blues.
They beat the Blues the last game.
They beat the Blues the last game, and then they got beat. I believe pretty decently in the first one, but they were actually no. That was a 5-4 hockey game. Like they won the second one and they were in the first one. So I'm just going to take an opportunity here to get a team that I think is pretty much on par with Minnesota. Maybe not defensively. They're not the same team defensively. They don't have strong goaltending. I'll say that, but they got more offensive firepower to keep them in this game. I mentioned the Stars first game of the season here tonight against Nashville, 5.5. We haven't seen Dallas. They get some holes right now. I mean, no Sagan. They played really good in the bubble. I don't know. I don't really have a strong feel. I'll be honest. It's kind of cop out, but this is a game I'm going to stay away from.
You know what? It's going to be a small play for me, but I'm going to take the contrarian view with the Dallas Stars. Know what it was, Meaney? Remember that night when Florida played their first game and everyone's like, oh, Chicago's got games under their belt. Well, Florida beat them. So I think people just assume, hey, Dallas hasn't played or whatever, but you know what? They practice, they do their thing, and they're fresh. They haven't taken any hits or anything yet. For me, the Nashville Predators are doing it with smoke and mirrors. I know they beat Columbus. To me, they still need a little bit of work. I like Dallas at plus 105 in this game. I think the Stars get it done, but you said it. It's not the best game on the board. Small play. I might put it in a couple parlays if I'm trying to make some dough.
If I'm going to pick a side, I'd lean with the under. I know 5.5. Tight. Dallas played a lot of tight games last year. They don't have a lot of offense, right? They're kind of aging with Ben and Pavelski and Radulov, but they do have a strong defensive team. Last year, they were so good in the bubble camp, but a lot of their games, apart from the ones against Colorado, it just seemed to be shootouts.
I'm with you. The thing about the Dallas Stars is they caught a heater. Hudobin played good. The rest of those guys played good. And they ran into a Colorado team that was basically, hey, bring, who's there? Hey, Leafs, you got Hutch? Yeah, we'll put Hutch in there. And you know Hutchison. Like Colorado, if they had all their guys had like a goaltender, they murdered Dallas in that series. So Dallas, they're one of those teams, I think they're okay. But the problem is with these guys, Meaney, it's not like you show up for work every day. They don't. Like every time, I look at this team, it's like, oh, Radulov looks good one game. He's a ghost for a couple games. Same thing with Sagan. He looks good a couple games. He's into it. Then he's a ghost. They what you're getting with superstars, McDavid, McKinnon, all these guys. Hey, Sidney Crosby, nobody's helping this guy out on Pittsburgh. But I will say this, Dallas, they're a very inconsistent hockey team, but they haven't played a game. They're a dog tonight against Nashville. Very small play.
Okay, giddy up. Give us Dallas and the under. Vegas, minus 167 against Arizona tonight. It's either, to me, you just lay the puck line or you get Vegas in a parlay. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to actually be contrarian here in this.
Arizona?
You know what? Vegas murdered Arizona. Remember the last game that they played? Pietrangelo shot goal. They scored 2 goals. Kemper's not a bad goalie, but he was really shaky early in that game. I watched Arizona. They battled back in that game. They had no luck. Who likes street meat more than me? Phil Kessel. He's got to show up. I'll tell you something. You've seen my punch, Meaney, and I can suck back beers. Kessel, wake up. You got to help out your young stars on this team. Everyone thinks just Vegas is going to go cruise. But Meaney, it's like the Kings versus Colorado. Last game out there, eventually they're going to show up. It's the National Hockey League. I'm looking at Arizona tonight. I think Vegas lays an egg. It's just one of those things. I'm looking at the situation. If Vegas shows up, they'll beat Arizona by a couple goals.
Yeah, we talked about this before. It is going to get to a point where you just take the value, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the Kings were plus 240 yesterday. There's a great call by you. And When Vegas and Colorado starts to go, I don't know, we get into mid-season, they could get near minus 280, minus 300.
Yep.
I mean, what's the point? It's hockey. We could say this for any sport, anything can happen, but literally, on any given day, a team could win. And you saw it yesterday with the Kings. And again, a bounce back effort. Adjustments were made. They played a bit of a trap. They shut down the top line for the most part last night. Yeah, I see it. I get it.
I'm telling you, man, I think Arizona's sitting out there and people are just going to go, hey, how am I going to cap off my parlay? Knights, Golden Knights. And I'm telling you, I think Arizona shows up tonight. They're back at home. I remember the first game they played against SJ Sharkey. They deserved a better fate. They lost that game. I watched the second game, Meaney. They murdered those guys. Like, they were all over them. Arizona, actually, when I watched them play Vegas, they took the play to them. The thing about Vegas, though, they're so damn opportunistic. Like, everything they do, they score. I'm watching the Leafs going, why can't you do that? And I'll tell you something, Meaney, your Montreal Canadiens play like that this year too. Like, they get a chance, they bury it. I'm going to say this on the show right now. I think the Montreal Canadiens are a legitimate Stanley Cup contender.
Whew. Hear that, Matt?
No, I choose not to.
You know what, Matt? Hey, Mr. Best, listen and listen good. The Montreal Canadiens are a good hockey team, man.
I have
real good. And they drive people nuts. The way they get on you, they're like mosquitoes. They just come in there and drive people crazy.
I just go against the Habs because it's fun and because it's fun with Meaney, but I do have them second in the North Division when it's all said and done.
They may win it.
I know what? I have them winning the North Division.
Yeah,
the Montreal Canadiens will win the North Division.
Plus 650 when we did this preview show. I believe they're like plus 200 now, and the Leafs are like 135. I took the Habs to win the Cup at 34-1. Now, I don't think that they're going to win the Cup, but there's going to be hedging opportunities. And when I said this over at ftmbets.com in my notes section, I said 34-1 is there's too much disrespect for a team that I thought was the most improved. And now today they're 16-1. So people are starting to bet them. Yeah,
what are the Leafs, Meaney? What are the Leafs? Tell me what the Leafs are right now.
I'll take a quick peek.
I'm going to think about like 16.
Oh, they're like probably 10 to 1.
And that's the thing. Who's a better hockey team? Montreal's better than them. I know the Leafs, they come back every time they play Montreal. Montreal gets a lead. The Leafs come back. I think Montreal's a better hockey team than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They're built better. They have balance. They don't have any guys that are making 11 million, right?
Exactly.
They have 4 lines that they roll. They brought in, there were guys last year that were playing in their top 6 20-goal scorers that are on their 4th line now. So they just have balance. Leafs are 10-1. Avs are 650, Lightning 750, Vegas 8-1, Tampa
10-1. Know what? I'm going to tell you that number sucks. I wouldn't even look. And you know me, like I like the Leafs.
I like the Leafs too.
If that thing doesn't go to like 18-20, I don't even look at it.
It won't though.
You know what? Then
they're like the Cowboys of football, right? They're just
Canada's team. He gone. Yeah, no, they're not Canada's team. I will say this. I want to ask you one question though, Meaney. And I did a couple shows on Sirius with Brian Blessing. He follows the Golden Knights. He lives in Vegas. Great hockey guy. Used to be the in-game host for the Buffalo Sabres back in the day with Mike Robitaille. And we were talking about the Canadian division. I think it's a disadvantage long haul. These teams hate each other. And hockey, it's regional. Like Montreal hates Toronto, Ottawa hates Montreal. Montreal, you know what I mean? And then you go out west, Calgary, Edmonton, hate. Vancouver, suck it. Like, you know what I mean? That's what these, like the North Division, it's so geographical, and people in Canada take it seriously. I think it's a detriment to the teams because they're going to murder each other before they get to the playoffs.
And I think you're starting to see it, especially with teams playing each other 3 times in a row. We saw it last night towards the end. Tyler Myers had I thought was a dirty shot in a 6-2, 6-3 game, whatever, 2 minutes left. He could get suspended. Joel Armia already concussed. And then late in the Winnipeg and Ottawa game, those guys got to play each other again. I believe tomorrow there was some bad blood too. You're playing each other 3 times in a row. These Canadian teams are absolutely competitive. You're right. Hockey north of the border is it's everything. It's everything that they have. That's it.
Exactly. Like you look at the other divisions, like, ooh, we're Carolina. Do we really want, like, you play Florida, big deal. Like, you know what I mean? But when Montreal and Toronto get together, it's real. These franchises they've hated each other for decades. You know that, me. I want to hear the craziest thing. I know we got I don't want to tell you stories all night long.
I'd love to hear them.
The best was you're in Florida, right? So me and my girlfriend, whatever, visiting my uncle in Florida, and it's like, hey, everybody, Sunrise, Florida Panthers. If you buy a bottle of Smirnoff, you get four. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm already buying vodka and I get tickets to the Panther game for $4. And they do the same thing with like McDonald's. If you buy a certain combo, I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me? And me and you, like, you're a Habs fan, you're paying $200 to like, to watch. Like, I was in decent seats at the Air Canada Center paying like $150 with my buddy. I'm like, this is a joke.
Yeah, I love the promos where it's like you can buy 4 tickets center ice in Florida, you get 4 hot dogs, 4 beer. Yep. It's going to cost you $40. I went to a game in Carolina in 2003. Both teams sucked. It was the Hurricanes and the Habs. I sat 3 rows behind the Montreal bench for $14 a ticket. 14. There were 2,000 people in that building that night. 2,000. And
what the
Hurricanes had some decent players. Like Ron Francis was near the end of his career. Rod Brendamore, Herbe was in net. Paul Coffey was playing. Like, they had decent players on that team, but nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit to go to the game.
No, it's unreal. It's same thing. Meaney, I'm doing my journey to the cup when like Cabby left the score or whatever, right? So, awesome. Oh no, we had some good times. So we go to Nashville. Great times in Nashville. I know Jordan Tutu from my days living up in the Canadian Arctic, Sullivan, all those guys. I get along with them all. We go to the media. It's a playoff game against the Vancouver Canucks. It's me in a cowboy hat, a big belt buckle, just cracking jokes or whatever, and one other guy. I'm like, if this was Montreal and Toronto, there's 70 people. You're on ladders. You can't even get and that's the thing, the players told me, it's like, man, I love playing here. And Carlo Koliakovo said the same thing about Buffalo. It's like everyone rips on Buffalo. He goes, I got a wicked place. It's dirt cheap. Everything's great here. There's water. Like, there's a misconception out there about some of these places. You know what I'm saying, buddy? I'd love to play for the Sabres.
Oh, yeah. And when the fans are in the building, my goodness, it is electric. I love it. It is great. I've been to Buffalo for a game. I'd say to tell everyone, go to Buffalo go watch a hockey game. You will absolutely enjoy it. One more game here, Colorado and Anaheim. We saw, as you mentioned, you were all over the Kings yesterday. That's a great call by you. They just shut them out and trapped them. So tonight's Colorado minus 210. It is the second half of the back-to-back. We're going to get Grubauer 5.5. I just wanted to hammer home you were talking about Arizona, and it shows in the numbers too. By the way, 5-on-5, only one team has generated more scoring chances and high danger chances than the Coyotes this year. So it's a great call by you. Howl for the Coyotes. Are you going to the Ducks?
You know what? Me, quack. I'll tell you something. If people don't watch hockey, watch John Gibson play. He is a great goaltender for this team. I watched those games against Minnesota. I'm like, man, this guy is very good. The thing about Colorado is losing to the Kings, that'll really piss them off. Damn. I don't like to lay 200. 1.5, I don't trust because Anaheim can kind of suffocate you. It's parlay material. You find another game that you like, and I think you put that in a parlay. Like for me, I'll parlay the Leafs and Colorado to plus money.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call. Absolutely. And again, so these are the shot props that Maddie and I were talking about. Mikko Rantanen over 2.5. Every single game, it's been over 2.5. I don't know why. That line is unreal.
That's crazy.
He got it pretty early. He had 4 shots, I believe, in the first period, halfway through the game yesterday. Minus 125. Landeskog is minus 106 for over 2.5. I would like Rantanen a little bit more, but I'm fine with Landeskog. I like McKinnon for a 2-point night here, plus 115. This guy is absolutely feeling it right now. 2 goals, 7 points. 12 shots over a 3-game point streak, 4 power play points. There was a moment in that game last night where they were on a 5-on-5 shift and they had Rantanen, Landeskog, McKinnon, and then Makar, and then their rookie Bowen Byram on the ice, and they just dominated for 2.5 minutes. They didn't score, but it was just like, oh my goodness, the Avs are going to be, I don't want to call them a dynasty team, but they're going to play in a lot of Final Fours. Camera 2 Drew feeling himself some Colorado Avalanche.
Hey, Camera 2 Drew, tell us about this goaltender. Well, he played good in the American hockey. I was like, I'm looking at the stats on Wikipedia. Thank you. He played 1 game for Arizona. I'm like, I look at this kid too, Minnesota Duluth. He actually did, you know what, Meaney? That wasn't his fault that they lost that game against the Kings. He made some big saves when the Kings had power plays. That was on Colorado that night. They just didn't take the Kings seriously.
I think they bounce back. I think Colorado probably wins 4-1 or something. I'm
agree.
actually going to take them on the puck line, but I think it's a safer bet to get them in your parlay. The Ducks have allowed the second most scoring chances and the fifth most high danger chances at 5-on-5. Okay, so let's roll through some DFS before we get out of here. Up at the center position, you got McKinnon, Matthews, McDavid, Zibanejad, Eichel, Crosby. Draisaitl's dropped down to $7K. He's interesting to me at $7,000 when you just take a look at McDavid being $1,300 more than him. And then Tavares 6'6", Larkin 6'4", Malkin 6'3". I just talked about McKinnon. I think if you can spend up at the top, you can fit these guys in. There's not a lot of value at the center position. So McKinnon is my top guy tonight. I really want to get a piece of him. Zibanejad I think there's going to be some goals scored in that Rangers and Penguins game. Draisaitl is decent at $7K. And you know what, Cam? Just give me Dylan Larkin. I don't know.
I love it.
Play Larkin tonight.
Out of all your picks, I think Larkin is the sneaky pick. People are like, oh yeah, and I agree with you. Zibanejad and the Rangers, they're going to score goals against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But that's the beautiful thing about DFS in Detroit, right? You can actually land on some guys when they're playing a team like the Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks goaltenders are brutal, and Larkin's on fire. Love the pick, Meaney.
I just want puck hogs and shooters, and he's one of them. A little bit of value down the board. Hurdle. I like the Sharks. I like Hurdle. I like what I've seen from him so far. He's priced as a player who really didn't play last season. 5.9 on DK is too cheap. I mean, he's averaging 14 DraftKings points per game, which is ranked 6th out of all the centers going tonight. And he's priced like 20th. So Hurdle, 3 goals, 6 points in 4 games, 20 plus minutes in every single game this year. A sneaky play, maybe Ryan Strome. I know he hasn't done anything yet, but that's the thing with DFS. It's all recency bias. What have you done for me lately? Nobody's really going to get involved with Ryan Strome. He's on that top power play with Zibanejad and with Kreider and with Panarin. He plays with Panarin. So I think the goals are coming. We could see it tonight. Over at the winger position, Pat Chiaretti, Rantanen, those are my guys up at the top. I like Rantanen a little bit more. I just feel like Colorado, you said it, Cam, they're going to be pissed off. This is a team that's young, and they want all the wins that they could possibly get, even though they're just going to cruise all year to a playoff spot. But nonetheless.
That's the thing, Meaney. I'll ask you another question. I like Sabres and DFS tonight. I think you should take a shot with some guys on that team. I think this is the night they get on Washington hard and score a lot of goals. But listen to this, how do I explain this? It's just one of these things. I don't think the Pacific Division is going to be doing Vegas any favors.
Right.
The thing about it, we talked about the North killing each other. These guys play Arizona, whatever. When are they going to have to turn it up in the playoffs? Another team shows up, it's like, let's dance. Hey, Vegas, we're a real team now. That's the thing. It might seem good now, but come playoff time, it's something. That division sucks. And I don't think they got to be ready to rock. The North are killing each other. That division is horrible. Vegas names their number.
And not to bring up Camber 2 Drew again, he's going to love this. He'll definitely be tuning in. As he said, he was like, I don't care about the regular season. I don't remember a time like this where I haven't cared about the regular season. You got Vegas, Colorado, and St. Louis. They're going to make it. Everyone will agree.
I agree with you.
When you're playing the Ducks and the Coyotes and the Kings every other day in 3-game sets, it does get a little bit boring. Yeah, where's that drive? It's not great for Vegas. They can just cruise, right? And they're not going to play any competitive games. Maybe down the stretch, who knows? I don't know how the schedule shapes up. The last 3 games for Montreal and Toronto are against each other. So talk about battling.
Hey, Montreal's awesome. And I'll tell you, hey, let's remember the Vegas series against Vancouver. They ran it, better get Demko. When Demko was on fire, Vegas was scared. They're like, we could lose this series. I think Vegas, they're going to have some fun this season. Come playoff time, I don't know, Meaney. It's one of those things. Can you just turn on a switch? Because I'll tell you, those teams from the North, if they don't kill each other, they're battle tested because those are real teams in that division.
100%. Yeah, you talk about your Sabres. Taylor Hall is only 6'8" on DraftKings. I think that's a pretty good price for him.
I agree.
He hasn't scored since his first game, but he does have 6 points so far. Put 6 pucks on net in his last game. Another guy is logging a lot of minutes. Starting to see that chemistry build between Eichel and Hall, and Reinhardt's the third member on that line. Stone is cheap at 6'5". I like him. I go back to that Kane Meyer. I think you should get involved with Kane Meyer or Hurdle. They're all very affordable, easy on your wallet. I don't like Jamie Benn so much, but I do like his prop. I meant to give that one as plus money over 2.5 shots. I like that for Jamie Benn. Down the list, Yamamoto, Philip Zadina with Larkin. It's a cheap stack, guys. Alex Tuck is somebody I wanted to bring up. He was placed on the first power play unit in Vegas. He's 4-1 on DraftKings tonight. He's a one-off. I like to just stack power plays. This is how I play on DraftKings. I like to stack power plays. The other night I had the 4 Rangers, and they lost, but they scored 3 power play goals. I think Tuck, coming off a 3-point night, probably be a little bit more popular, but he played a season high 19 minutes. He had 28 DK points. He had 4 shots. He is a shooter, so he's not going to play in the top 6, Cam. But when Vegas gets some power plays, he's on that first unit with the guys that you want him to be with Pacioretty and Stone and Pietrangelo. So I think Tuck can save you a little bit of money. And then why not VC, right? If he's going to get an opportunity to play with Matthews and Marner, let's get a piece of it, right?
I agree 100%. I think VC gets points tonight. I would not be shocked if VC got a couple points. This is the thing, Meaney. I love the Leafs in this spot. It's just one of those things. It's the bounce back scenario. They should have won that last game. And when I watched the coach in that presser, he was calm, but smoke was coming out his ears. Like, this team has not been that good. Ottawa could have beat them 2 games. Like, they're going to show up tonight and tell the Oilers we're a better hockey team than you. I still don't believe in Edmonton.
Yeah, me neither. I think the Leafs are definitely a better team than them. Over on defense, we got Yossi, Carlson, Ellis. Man, Ryan Ellis is super expensive at 6'6". No reason he should be more expensive than Kyle McCarr, Alexander Pietrangelo, or Shea Theodore. Brent Burns in there as well. Chris Letang. Usual suspects for me. I mean, McCarr, he's just all over the ice. Big fan of his. Theodore over Pietrangelo because you're going to save yourself $300. Morgan Riley at 5'6".
Yes.
I think is interesting. You like Riley?
That's the one. Morgan Riley I'll tell you, Meaney, he's been a little bit snake bitten too. He's taken some penalties at weird times. Morgan Riley, in my opinion, is going to dominate tonight. I think he's going to have multiple points. I think he's going to play well. I think I know it's, what do you say, 5,600? I don't care.
I think it's a value.
Actually, you know what? I would have put Morgan Riley over 6,000, around six grand. I think it's a good play.
Yeah, I agree. I know Ryan Ellis has Ryan Ellis is a good defenseman, but he's $1,000 more than Morgan Riley.
That's stupid.
Right.
I'm with you, buddy.
Morgan Riley and the ice time, 28, 23, 24, 23, 24. So ice time is there. Yeah, you're right. He's snake bitten. It's only a matter of time. It's probably this game tonight in, potential shootout with those guys. So Adam Fox, I made my guy Maddie make a Adam Fox board, even though he dealt him in a dynasty league. He got Kaprizov.
You gotta get Capri.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it is. It is a good call. It's a great deal, actually, Maddie. But I do like Fox. 25 minutes in his last game. He's got 3 points. He's taken over that number 1 power play. All 3 of his points have come on the power play. He's just a guy who's logging a lot of ice time. He's really just trending up in the right direction. I think next time, Cam, we talk in a month, we're talking about him being priced as like a top 10 defenseman on DraftKings. There's some value here. Carlson is 4-2. Is a guy who's playing almost half the game, still in the first power play. There's no reason he should be 4-2. Barry sucks, but he's 4-2 as well. Shattenkirk is cheap. And then I don't know about Bowen Byram. He actually he struggled yesterday. I was on him at 2.5. He's 2.5 again today. He's really cheap. He could get some power play time, but I wouldn't be shocked if he just sat out a game because he didn't look NHL ready.
Exactly.
But just keep an eye on that situation for sure. White Cloud is cheap. What about goalies? What are we doing in net here? Grubauer is 8.5. I expect Vegas to go to Leonard at 8.4. Jari is 8.3. That's a complete pass for me unless you're playing 150 lineups and you want to get ultra contrarian. Talbot is 8.2. I guess maybe DeSmith starts over Jari, but I'm not interested in either of those guys. Anderson, 8-1. There's something to be said, Cam, about going against the grain. A lot of people want to play Oilers all the time. Maybe Frederick Anderson is somebody to consider.
I have no problem with Anderson. What about Hutton for the Sabres? Is he starting tonight? I think they're going to win that game.
It might be Allmark.
Is it Allmark?
I think Hutton is out, so it could be Allmark, and he's only 7.6, Cam.
That's a great price. Yeah, what happened with Allmark? I know he got like his body bent back, but I thought didn't he have a family member pass away too? And Hutton's beat down too. I was told by Blessing that they're bringing up that kid from the American Hockey League too. What is it? Johansson? Johansson, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he has been. So he potentially could get the start. I think they'll go with Allmark. But yeah, you're right. Hutton he's not joining Buffalo on the 2-game road trip, upper body. So I think they'll go Allmark. Geez, if they go Johansson, he's 6'5". I don't know if I've ever seen a goalie 6'5". That's
amazing. What about Ristolainen, Meaney? Do you have any love Rasmus? For what Sabres would you play if you were looking for some?
Well, Dahlin's 4.7.
That's a good. I know what I love that.
He's been underpriced. He's been 4-1, 4-1, 4-4-4. He's 4-7, the highest he's ever been this season. A guy who's, he's got at least 2 shots in every single game, playing 24, 21 minutes a game. So, he's averaging 20 minutes per game. It's not bad. He's yet to hit the score sheet, but, we like the Sabres tonight. So 4-7 for Dahlin is great. Yeah, I'd lean him over Rasmus Ristolainen. If you're playing in a season-long league and you're playing with hits and blocks and shots, like Ristolainen is a better fantasy asset for you, but Dahlin has more upside, more offensive upside at least. So that's where I lean there. The Sabres are cheap, man. I mean, Reinhardt's cheap too.
I agree. So what are we betting tonight, Meaney? Before I'm gonna lay it down right now. These are teams that I'm betting. Sabres in the $1.30 range. I like the Leafs to bounce back. Juice is high, but I don't care. I think the Rangers could be a good pooch at plus 130. We lean to the over with no goaltending. I think the Wings as a dog against Chicago. You give them a long, hard look. San Jose Wild, I'm going to pass, but you like the SJ Sharkey there. Lean to Dallas at plus 104. Arizona, my dirty dog, and Colorado in parlays to bounce back against the Ducks.
I love it. Yeah, we're right on the same page here. Let's see if we can nail one here for you guys. I like Buffalo, the Leafs, the Rangers as well. I will go with the over. I think that the trend's going to continue. I think there's going to be some goals there. So those are my 4 that I really like. I will throw in a side one here just to get some juice. I'm going to throw Vegas in with Detroit and San Jose, and I'm going to take Colorado by 2. That's a little weird one there. I think the Avs I think what you said, I thought was spot on. They're just going to show up tonight. I
tell you though, Meaney, I know Vegas looks good. There's just something about that game.
There's something about Zona.
Yep. I think, remember the first game Arizona played against those guys? Vegas was very lucky to win, but the thing about Vegas is when they turn it on, Arizona could have a 2-0 lead and Vegas goes ding, 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 and the party's over.
And Vegas is not going to win every game. Here, this is the one, guys, if you're in shot props, I'll give you a parlay. Shot prop parlay, this has been really working for me over at FTN. Crosby over 2.5 shots, Rantanen over 2.5 shots, Carlson or Backstrom, whatever way you want. I like them both over 2.5 shots. And then Max Pacioretty over 3.5 shots. Get the 4 of those in there in your parlay. You're good to go. That's the one.
Love it. Nice.
Been killing those shot props over at ftnbets.com. If you're looking for any more bets, check out ftnbets.com. Use that promo code Meaney. Use a promo code Mayo. Whatever you want. It's all good. And Cam, any final words from you? I know we went a little long, but man, story time was good.
Yeah, no final words. Just if the Sabres don't deliver with 4 guys on Washington in COVID protocol, I will be done. They better get it done tonight, Meaney, because this team, I keep on coming back to them. It was nice the game they beat Philly, but they got to win tonight. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. You know what? On the way out, if you like Anaheim a little bit, and you mentioned Gibson, dude is 6'9". I
love Gibson.
Peters liked Gibson there the other day. 6'9" is pretty good. All right, on the way out, who's going to the Super Bowl?
The Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take both dogs. Am I nuts?
No, you're not. Coin flip games, man. Coin flip games. This should be good. All right, check Cam out on Sirius Radio. Doing great work over there on Sirius. Thanks for taking the time to hang out today, Cam. Good luck with the picks. Everybody have a great weekend. And remember to subscribe, rate, review, leave your email, get in on that draw for $100. We'll talk to you on Monday. Cheers.
Later, Meaney. Who do you like?
I like
Green Bay and Kansas. Oh, you like